Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be filming my birth story video. I just gave birth to my sweet little girl Zara. I'm sorry about my appearance. I'm really tired and I honestly don't have any energy to get ready. So I just gave birth to my sweet baby girl Zara on 6/20, the day before Father's Day, which is sort of ironic because this whole pregnancy I've been saying that I was going to have a baby by Father's Day, and I did. Somehow it happened. She's over here sleeping, so if you hear any noises, that's what that is. I will show you her at the end. She's so sweet and she's just the best baby. She is so relaxed. She's a perfect third baby. She's so relaxed. She sleeps through everything because the other two are very loud. But let's just jump into my birth story. Alright, so on Friday at about, like the Friday before I had her, which was just like the day leading up to when I had her, because I had her in the middle of the night. That Friday at about 10:30, it was about when I put Jamie down for his nap, I started having some contractions. They were like every 10-12 minutes-ish apart. If I got really busy, I wouldn't really notice them, but I was having them consistently. At this point, they weren't painful at all. They weren't even uncomfortable. It was just tightening. I honestly thought they were Braxton Hicks. And at this point, I told my husband to just keep his phone on him so that in case I needed him to come home from work, he could. And these contractions like this, until there was like no pain at all or no discomfort, lasted for about 4 hours, I want to say. They lasted, let's see, 11, 3, 12. Yeah, they lasted until about 2:30. And then they started to get slightly uncomfortable, and I told my husband maybe it would be a good idea to leave work a little early. Ironically, he didn't get my text message, and he's set to leave an hour after that anyway, so it wasn't a big deal. But I told him to, like, that it would probably be best if he left early. We live in Maryland, in an area that gets a lot of beach traffic, and if you went across the bridge, like the bridge to get to the area that we live in, then on a Friday, then you need to do it earlier in the afternoon, or else you're gonna be stuck in hours and hours of traffic. Or at least I thought. There was oddly no traffic this weekend. Usually there's a ton of traffic. Everyone's been locked down, so people wanted to go to the beach, but there wasn't any traffic, thankfully. So ironically, he didn't get my message, and he left work at 3:30. And when he got home at 4:30, I was still having contractions. Now they're about 8 to 10 minutes apart. Still like barely uncomfortable. They were hurting in my hips and my butt. They weren't like hurting my belly or my back or anything like that, so I honestly thought that they were just Braxton Hicks. And she had been like jammed in my towards my left hip, like her shoulder or her head or something had been jammed in my left hip for like probably 2 days, right, like at this point. So I thought that maybe my Braxton Hicks were only hurting in my hips and all because she was jammed, like stuck in there. So I had let my midwife know a couple hours before this that I was having some contractions. I told her like that they were sort of uncomfortable, but they weren't close enough for me to want to have her come over and check me out. So let's see. Tristan, I think when he got home, he took the kids with him to Tractor Supply. He picked up some goat stuff that we needed. We had to get like or a stock tank, I think that's what it's called. We had to get a stock tank. He got them like some toy, I don't know. So he was supposed to go get our goat, like our first goat. We have 2 goats right now. He was supposed to go get the first one on Saturday, but he couldn't because I had just given birth. So he had taken Rose and Jamie, and he got them dinner, and he took them to Tractor Supply. And when he left the house, I just went and tidied everything up. I did everything I needed to do to get ready, just in case this was it. And I'm glad that I did, because it wasn't. And then when he got home and he put, I don't know, I think it was like about 7:30. He, right before we put the kids to bed, I started having contractions closer together. They were like 3.5 to 5 minutes together, and they were more uncomfortable. They still weren't like painful. They just hurt in my like hips and butt area. And I told my midwife that it would probably, well, actually she had called me, or my midwife's student had called me and said to really like keep them updated. They were sorry for like pestering me, but they really didn't want to miss the birth. So I told them, like, no, I don't think that it's time for you guys to come over yet. This might be a long time. I'm not even sure if I'm in labor. And they were just like, okay, you really need to keep us up in the loop, because we really don't want to miss the birth and have her be born without us there. So we went, so we put the kids to bed, and probably about like 5 minutes after that phone call, I texted her and I was just like, you know what, it's probably a good idea for you guys to come over, because the contractions are starting to get closer together and a little bit more uncomfortable. So they headed our way, and they got to our house at about like 8:15, and they checked me, and I was like, well, I requested that they check me. I was 4 to 5 centimeters dilated, 100% effaced, and my midwife helped turn her some out of my hip, because it was causing me a ton of pain, and it was probably why all the contractions I was having weren't extremely effective. So so she helped turn her out of my hip, and it did the job. I mean, it wasn't painful or uncomfortable. She tolerated it well, and it helped progress things along. When they got here, they started setting up the pool. I let my mom know that I was in labor, just in case she had to come get the kids. What else? Oh yeah, they started setting up the pool. They started filling the pool, and the pool only took about 20 minutes to fill. It wasn't very long. They kept a bunch of hot water, like boiling water or simmering water, I guess would be, on the stove, so that like they could keep the pool nice and hot for me. And I labored in the pool until about, I want to say I labored in the pool from like 9:30, 10 o'clock to like 1:30 in the morning. And I got out again because the contractions weren't like super intense yet, and I felt like it was stalling a little bit. So I asked if they could check me again. They checked me, and I was like 8 centimeters, and like my bag was bulging, and it's been effective for me, or it's been in my prior labors. Having my water broken has really progressed my labor. So I requested to have my water broken. My midwife broke my water, and I got back. I had a few contractions on the toilet, and then I got back in the tub, and things really started picking up. Everything got so much more intense and so much more painful. It was just, this is like when things start getting blurry for me, because it was just, I felt like I was like in a daze. Like, it was just so exhausting. I was so exhausted by this point. I'd been up for like 24 hours at this point. So then at about, I want to say 2 o'clock, I could tell like my body started feeling sort of pushy. It felt a lot better to bear down through contractions than to not, but I wasn't necessarily pushing, you know, like it was just, I'm assuming that I was fully dilated at this point. I didn't request any more checks after getting my water broken. I just wanted to listen to my body and everything. So my body I started to like bear down through contractions, and it was only a couple, and then I started feeling, I don't know if anyone has ever experienced this, but something called the fetal ejection reflex. So this is when your body essentially just takes over. It does all the pushing and it pushes the baby out itself. So I didn't do any pushing. It felt like a really weird out-of-body experience because this thing was coming out of me and I wasn't pushing it out. So it was just so bizarre to me. I've never experienced that before in my, like with my other two. And I remember, I don't even know if this is in the birth log, but I was just like spouting nonsense. I asked my midwife if we'd go back in time. I told her I didn't want to do this anymore. I was just like, why did I do this? I can't do it. I was just spouting like random nonsense. And gosh, I think it was only like about like 30 minutes from the time that I started like having, like feeling the need to bear down through contractions to when my body was actually pushing her out. I think that was only like a 30-minute period of time. And through that, everything sort of blurred. I don't really remember exactly everything, but it was a crazy experience. The pool, I was sitting like sideways in the pool. It was more of like an oval-y shape because that's just what felt most comfortable to me. I was holding on to both my husband's hands when this was happening, and it just felt so intense. It was the most intense experience I've ever had. And within a couple minutes of that, she was here. I was so happy. I'm still so amazed at how much hair she has. Neither of my other babies had any hair at all when they were born. Rose didn't have any hair until she was like a year old. So she has so much hair, and I was so amazed, and everything went really well. She's honestly such a sweet little angel. Oh my god. I just can't. She's so cute. But yeah, so everything just went so well and so smooth, and I would have a million more babies at home if I could, because it was just such an amazing experience. Both the kids slept right through it, and I don't even know. It was just so awesome. She's feeding like a champ. She's breastfeeding like a champ. I will show you her now because she's starting to get fussy. So here she is. She doesn't have any clothes on right now because she needs an outfit change. But you're sweet. Oh, you're sweet, Zara. She is so sweet. She's the perfect addition to our family, and I love her. We love her so much. I just wanted to say thank you for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.